Welcome to Strange Happenings, the paranormal podcast where I, Minx Laura 123, will take you on a journey into the mysterious and unexplained. Join me as I delve into the world of the supernatural, share chilling stories, and explore the inexplicable occurrences that continue to baffle and captivate us. Get ready to question reality and embrace the eerie as we unravel the threads of strange happenings together. Welcome to Strange Happenings, Episode 3. I'm your host, Minx Laura 123. Now, we've got a bumper, jam-packed, bursting at the seams, strange spectacular for you. But before I tell you what's coming up, remember this is a fortnightly podcast with new episodes on a Thursday. I need and I want your participation. So if you've got stories or topics that you want discussed, please do get in contact with me via my email. That's minxlaura123@gmail.com. And if you do email me, please put Strange Happenings in the subject. Or you can contact me via my social media. I'll give you the information on my social media later on in the episode. So, are you ready to explore strange happenings? Okay, then let's begin. So, coming up in this jam-packed show, episode 3. So, we have got some ghost hunting on a budget. Okay, so affordable pieces of equipment for you to get evidence of the afterlife. Ghost hunting on the cheap, basically. Also coming up, vampires. Do real life vampires exist, or are they just fiction? And some of my favourite vampire TV shows and films. Strange news from around the world, including the ghost in the well, an alligator who was denied entry to a baseball stadium, Elvis mania in Wales, and is a BBC studio haunted? Also coming up, the Mothman. Yes, Mothman Mysteries. We'll be looking into this strange cryptid. Is he good or bad? Is he friend or foe? We'll be talking about that later on. Also, this week's strange happenings that I have encountered. Yes, real life paranormal accounts from me, and also from my listeners. People have been getting involved, getting in touch with me, telling some of their spooky stories. So I'm going to be reading those out later on in the episode. And thank you, by the way, to people who've been sending me those. Really appreciating. And as I say, I really want people involved in this podcast, okay? Not just my podcast, it's our podcast, okay? Also, alien abductions, going to be talking about a couple of famous cases and discussion about spiritual mediums. So, do you believe that there are people out there who can actually communicate with the dead? We'll be thinking and talking about that later on. Also, space news with my resident spaceman, Nathan, who is also my fiance. Space news and space mysteries, to be exact. And yeah, it's going to be a good show, and I really hope you enjoy it. So, sit back, relax, get comfortable, and we shall begin with ghost hunting on a budget. Affordable pieces of equipment that you will need and that you can use for, communicating with spirits. Now, this is really interesting because as I've said before many a time, I do live in a haunted house. So over the years, I want to try to communicate with the spirits that, reside in this house. Okay. And me and Nathan have tried many things to communicate. A lot of these things I've included in this list. And, I know that there are a lot of people out there who also want to, communicate with the dead, whether it's where you live, if you're in a haunted house like us, or you want to go to haunted locations. But when you watch these like paranormal TV shows, it looks like, they just use all the really expensive items to, communicate. But no, you can actually do ghost hunting on the cheap. So here are just some tips that we thought of that you can get reasonably cheap. Okay, so let's get started with the camera. So you can either use your phone or you can either pick up a second-hand camera online. You know, my camera on my phone is really, really good, and it's really clear. So, you know, great idea. You don't need one of these fancy cameras, just like a basic little digital camera, or just use the camera on your phone. Also needed is a torch. So this is needed for when you're walking around in dark places. And also for EVPs, you'll need a voice recorder. Okay, so luckily, going back to the phone thing, most phones do come with the built-in voice recorder, or you can actually buy a cheap digital recorder online. So this is great for getting those EVPs. Sometimes we can't hear spirits talking to us in the here and now, but when you record it and you play it back, you can hear, you know, words, sometimes full sentences. So it's you know, a great way of communication. Also, you'll need an EMF detector. Very good. So they measure electromagnetic fields, which some people, including me, believe that ghosts give off. We've got one, we've used it, and it is really exciting when all of a sudden, you know, you'll ask a question or you'll hold it over a certain area or a certain object and the lights start flashing, and it's a very exciting experience. And also you know that you're communicating. Okay, so also we've got an IR thermometer. It's an idea for you if you'd like to find out where those cold spots are. So the IR thermometer detects cold spots. So, you know, a lot of people think that where there's cold spots, it may indicate a presence of a spirit. We've got one of these as well, which we got on eBay. And, you know, it's really good because you hold it up and it just shows you where those cold spots are. Or if you don't want to use an actual machine, sometimes you just feel cold around you. You just get a sense of it, you know, whether it's like a cold, like, you know, close near you, or just like a gust of like cold sort of air just blowing at you. But a cold presence is, you know, as I say, something that people think that are the way that spirits communicate with us. Also, another thing I did on the list was ghost apps. Now, I know there's a lot of apps on, you know, online that you can download on your phone. Some people will say, oh, they're just for entertainment purposes. And you know what? Some of them are. And you can get free apps. There are some that you can pay for, or some that are free. And even though they, you know, could be meant for entertainment purposes, people swear by them. A lot of people love them. A lot of people use them. You know, professional ghost hunters use them. And they are really creepy. Like, sometimes you use them, you think, oh, this is just, you know, it's not real. It's just entertainment. And then you'll get words that are really, you know, spot on. And it's a good thing, I think, to use these apps. Another thing is motion sensor lights. So these are motion sensor lights that are only turned on when something moves in front of them. We have these. We have used these. We've had amazing evidence from these, you know, asking questions and then saying things like, could you turn the light on now? You know, no one's in front of it, and then the light goes on. It's a very scary experience, but also very rewarding, because you know that it's actually like that someone in spirit is listening to you, and then going in front of the lights, you know there is communication happening. Also, a light up touch activated balls. Now, these can actually be found, this is quite funny, under the cat toys category online. So we don't own a cat, okay, but if you get these little balls, right, they light up, and it's really, like, we've used them once again. It's really good. You get some great evidence with them. Also, something we have that you can get yourself is a cheap trail cam. Night vision, you know, motion activated. Our one I got online takes photographs if something goes past it, and it also takes video clips as well, which is, you know, perfect for the ghost hunting. And you can use them outdoors or indoors. So, you know, as I say, find them online, super cheap. Okay, next up, trigger objects. So personal items that once belonged to the deceased. You know, see if that spirit interacts with their item. And we've done that as well. I've put some things that belong to my granddad or my grandma out and had, you know, interaction with it. So I think seeing something that belonged to them that they connect with is a great, you know, trigger object. Also, the old school style of ghost hunting, and this is literally free. So, I mean, we're doing ghost hunting on a budget. This is free, okay? So, talking to spirit and knocking. So, ask spirit to communicate with you via knocks. You know, you can say knock twice for this or once for that. Or do a pattern of knocks, like a rhythm of it, and see if they knock back in the same pattern. And as I say, that is completely free. So I hope that gives you some tips. Let me know if you've ever done any ghost hunting, whether it's in your house or you've gone on location. If you have gone on a location, let me know where that was, what happened. Did you get any good evidence? Was it in a group? You know, I know there's a lot of things that they do, like in group situations where you can go along on these like ghost hunting night outs and stuff. Or did you just do it with friends, family? Let me know. As I say, I really want people involved in this podcast. So please do get in touch. And if you've got any other tips and advice on ghost hunting tools that, or methods that we could use, hey, we're up for advice as well. So we could use it. Okay, so we're going to go from ghost hunting to vampires. Okay. Fantastic. I know, sorry, that's really cringe, but there we go. So basically, I have been into vampires since I was a kid. And this is very embarrassing. And it does make me cringe when I think about it. But anyway, at the age of 17, this is so embarrassing. The age of 17, an ex-boyfriend who, I'm not going to say his full name, so I'll just do his initial. It's M. So M. He was a goth, right? Really long black hair and just only like dressed in black. He was full on like goth, big thick eyeliner and black lipstick. Anyhow, but he was convinced that he was a vampire. I thought that was just so interesting and fascinating because I was, as I say, interested in vampires since I was a kid. And he actually bit my neck and he said he turned me into a vampire, which I actually believed for many, many years. I know it's a bit embarrassing, but there we go. But yeah, I've always been fascinated with vampires. I think it's a big thing. I think there's quite a big vampire, culture out there. People enjoy, vampire stuff. So people, this is what this bit's about, right? People actually live as vampires, all right? So there's some people who might just like watching the odd vampire film, what have you, but there are people out there that actually truly believe they are vampires, and they live as vampires, and there's also meetups with like-minded vamps, and they come in all various types of people. It's not just the goths out there, it's anyone, anyone can be a vampire. So yeah, I thought I would talk about that, but before I do, I just want to talk about some vampire TV shows and films that I have loved over the years, and let me know what is your favourite vampire film or TV show, or both. So I started when I was really young, so Count Duckula, vegetarian vampire, you gotta love that. Also, I really loved a TV series called Dracula the TV show. I think his name was Alucard. I think I had a bit of a crush on him as well. I also loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, how can you not love Buffy? Spike, one of the best vampires ever. A show that I was absolutely obsessed with was called Forever Night. It's quite a rare show. Everyone I've ever mentioned it to has never heard of it. Let me know if you have. Called Forever Night. And I remember it was on a Sunday night. It was on Sky One. And it was about this vampire cop who, surprise, surprise, only worked on the night shift. So, yeah, I love that show. It's so good. Then, of course, The Vampire Diaries. I went through a big obsession with that show. And then there was also a film when I was really young that I loved called The Little Vampire. And I'm sure they made a remake of that, but I love the original best. Twilight films, I like the first few because they were really everywhere. They were so hyped up. And, vampires, I was like, yeah. I love the fact that they kind of twinkled and, yeah, it was the romance and stuff. But after a while, I did start to get bored, if I'm honest. Absolutely love The Lost Boys. Classic cult 80s vampire film. Love The Lost Boys. And of course, the classic of Interview with the Vampire. I really loved Queen of the Damned as well. So I was just trying to think of some vampire shows and stuff and films that I like. But yeah, I'm interested to know your favourite vampire films and TV shows and vampire characters from fiction. Let me know. So, yeah, real life vampires, let's get back to that. So, the people who claim to be vampires are in the thousands worldwide. Like, seriously, there are so many people. I mean, you could be going shopping and there could be a vampire walking right next to you. Think about that for a moment. Now, people of various age, gender, race, etc. As I say, it's not just kind of the image of the goth into vampires. It's really not. And actually, this is quite morbid, but a lot of serial killers have actually claimed to be vampires over the years as well, which I didn't really kind of want to go into too much, but it is, if you look it up, there's a lot of cases of serial killers who, as I say, have claimed to be vampires. So real life vampires often keep this aspect of their lives private, but some actually join online forums to chat with other vampires, and some have like these meetups where they do drink the the red stuff, you know what I mean, okay? And there is actually a very active vampire culture and community. So, other people just like the imagery of vampires, they'll dress like them, they'll act like them in a kind of cosplay way. But there is also something called psychic vampirism. Also energy vampires who feed off the energy of others. Emotional vampires who drain emotions from people. And there are many levels of how much you can be into this vampire lifestyle. So for some it's just fun, but others it's actually really serious. They take it very, very serious, and it is quite dark, it's a dark world. So what do you think? Are there really vampires, or is it just fiction? What do you think would be the highs and lows of being a vampire? Because I'd really love that kind of eternal life, and the fact that, in fiction, when you see the films and shows, vampires always look beautiful and sexy. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. But I'm not sure on drinking the red stuff. That doesn't sound appealing, to be honest. So, as I say, let me know what you think. Okay, now it's time for weird and strange news from around the world. So, let's begin with this one. This is really creepy, okay? Fire crews attempted to rescue a vanishing ghost woman from the bottom of a well. So a bizarre and unnerving story this is. Honestly, it really creeped me out when I read this, so I wanted to share it on the episode here. So this was in Mexico this week. Police and fire rescue crews attended the scene of a woman who was trapped down a well. And guess what? The time was 3:30 in the morning. I mean, come on, witching hour. To confirm that she was okay, the officers called down to ask her name. And she said it was Juanatia, I think. Juliana? I can't even say it. Juanatia. Anyway, so they asked her name, and basically she kept repeating this name. So it took them hours. But when the rescue team were able to get the equipment down to lower a firefighter down there into the well to help her, to their shock, there was no one down there. So this woman's been calling out her name repeatedly. They can hear someone down there. No one down there. I'm sorry, but that is strange. It kind of gives me the Ring vibes, which I have to add in there. People always say to me, Laura, what is your favourite horror film of all time? And I always say, and I truly mean this, The Ring. The Ring for me was the most scary film ever. When she crawls out the well and she's crawling out the TV in that long black hair and just, oh, I love it. All right, next up. Strictly Come Dancing stars are convinced that their studio is haunted and are demanding that producers actually call the Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? A number of them have experienced things that they can't explain. Unexplained bumps and noises and incidents have been happening. So, yeah, I mean, I don't watch that show. I've got to be, I know it's very popular and I know people who love it and watch it, including my mum. She loves it. But I don't know, the thought of them trying to do all their practicing and dancing, but also being like really scared by ghosties, I don't know. Kind of makes me laugh. I've got a little joke for you as well added in. This is really cringe, but anyway. Why didn't the ghost go to the Halloween party? Because she had nobody to dance with. Okay, but I thought it was funny. Moving on. Police in Nebraska pull over a man driving with a bull Yes, I said a bull in the passenger seat. So officers spotted the vehicle cruising along with a huge bull, okay? And apparently the owner, who's called Lee Mayer, has driven his bull around for years. The bull is called, I love this name, Howdy Doody. And he's been driving around in this modified ride for so long. But could you imagine that? Just like driving along and just, anyway, I just thought it was funny and weird. Okay, so in Mexico, a giant Chucky doll has been arrested. I kid you not. It's been handcuffed, arrested by police. So the doll's been being used to scare people into handing over money during a spate of robberies. And the person behind this was a man known as Carlos N. So he scared people with the doll and was arrested. Now, I don't know about you, but there is something really scary about Chucky. Like, I know it's only like fiction, but he's got a kind of, yeah. I mean, if someone come up to me, this Chucky doll, I'd be scared. So, yeah. Chucky the doll got arrested, as did the person who was trying to scare people and con people out of money. Next up, Elvis is in the building. Well, actually, a lot of Elvises. There was a large Elvis festival in Wales last week, which saw hundreds of Elvis lookalikes and fans of, the king of rock and roll. They come together to celebrate Elvis, and it was the largest Elvis festival in Europe. And it happened in this really small Welsh town. Which, can you just imagine it, like this little town, and then there's just loads of people just, walking around. Let me know as well, are you a fan or not a fan of Elvis? I do like some Elvis songs. I'm not going to lie, there's been some good Elvis songs over the years. Right, and last bit of strange and weird news from around the world. An emotional support alligator was denied access to a baseball stadium in Philadelphia. So it had been an arranged visit by its owner, but now basically they'll have to go another time because they get there and they were told, no, you can't come in, sorry, you're not allowed, which is really sad because it was all organised. And as I say, this alligator is this emotional support animal and actually has tens and thousands of followers on social media. The alligator's name, in case you're wondering, is Wally. So poor Wally, and the owner as well, but hopefully they'll get it rearranged and it'll be fine. Apparently people go up to the alligator and like cuddle it and kiss it. I don't know if I would do that. How would you feel if you was in a baseball stadium and this alligator just, strolls in? Oh, right. Okay, moving on. The Mothman. Now, the Mothman is a legendary creature that was reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area of West Virginia from November 1966 to December 1967. He is a huge, semi-human winged creature with glowing red eyes. And at between 6.5 and 7 feet tall, he has a wingspan of nearly 10 feet. And the shadowy creature was reportedly able to fly a great distance at speeds of 100 miles per hour. That's quick. So the legend has it that the Mothman sightings were actually a dark omen, predicting a horrible disaster. On 15th of December 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed into the waters of the Ohio River during rush hour. So it was really, really busy, obviously, rush hour traffic, and it left 46 people dead. Now, weirdly, sightings of the Mothman stopped after the tragic collapse. So some people think that the creature was actually a large bird, like a sandhill crane, but some are still believing that he was, in fact, a supernatural being. So what do you think? Was the Mothman this evil creature, and he made the accident happen? Or was he there to warn and help people to keep them away from the bridge in the hope that, people might have saw him, been scared and, in fear, just not gone on the bridge, and then he'd save lives? Or was he there and did he actually cause this horrible, horrible, tragic, thing? I'm really interested. And if you look on Google or any other search engine and see images of said Mothman, it's really creepy like this, the wings and the red eyes and everything. So, as I say, I'm really fascinated to know if you think if he was good or bad, friend or foe. Let me know. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. There we go. Okay, now we are going to talk about some spooky stuff. Strange, in fact, strange happenings that have happened to me this week. Whew. I live in a haunted house. Things happen to me a lot. But this week, something happened to me, or two things happened to me out of the house, but I'll be telling you those in a minute. But first of all, this happened in the house. So my mum's got this doll's house, beautiful old-fashioned doll's house in her bedroom. And yeah, so basically it's all like, been decorated. It's got all furniture and stuff in it. And she's got all these little dolls in it. It's really, really cute. So there was no one in my mum's room. And we heard a bang coming from the doll's house. So this is me and Nathan were in the other room. We heard this bang. Both gone into my mum's room. And, nothing had fallen on the floor or anything. So we opened the doors of the doll's house. And one of the little dolls had fallen over face down. Now, all the dolls always sit in like certain positions kind of thing on the, little seats and stuff. But this one was just boom, like it had been pushed down. So, yeah, it was really... And also, not only the dolls, but there was also like... She's got like this little mini bookcase. Some of the books had fallen off onto the floor in the doll's house room. And there's also this like little mini doll's TV that was face down as well, which normally sits upwards, obviously. So... yeah, it was creepy. There is something creepy about dolls' houses, I'll give you that. Also in the house, the Xbox. Once again, that Xbox turned on by itself. So I'm thinking that this ghost who keeps turning on Nathan's Xbox is a gamer ghost. Maybe the ghost just really wanted to play a bit of Starfield, which is what Nathan's been currently playing recently. And also, when I was sitting watching TV on my own the other day, I felt a really strange vibe around me. It literally felt like there was something or someone around me. But I just kept looking around and there was nothing there. Sometimes it's not about hearing or seeing things, it's about feeling. Like you just feel it, you just sense there's something around. And in some ways that's more scary than sort of, seeing and hearing stuff. So out of the house, first of all, I was in work in our office and I had, honestly, out of nowhere, this really strong scent of perfume. Now, it wasn't my perfume. I know the smell. I wear Ralph Lauren Romance. Love it, by the way. But it wasn't that perfume. It was a completely different smell. It was really, really strong. And it was literally come out of nowhere, right under my nose. Like literally someone had just got their wrist with their perfume on and then just shoved it under my nose. I was like, whew. That's strong. And then it just disappeared, which was really, really weird. And there is actually something, we'll be talking about this on the next episode of Strange Happenings podcast. Phantom smells. These are smells that, kind of come out of nowhere. They can be nice smells like the perfume, or they can be quite, vile, disgusting smells. But we'll be talking about that more in the next episode. But yeah, I thought that was really weird. The other thing that happened to me out of the house, which was paranormal. Now, this is a very embarrassing story, and I was tempted not to tell it simply because of the place that this happened. But I always tell you that I'm going to tell you updates of spooky stuff that I've been through, and so that's what I'm doing. So it is embarrassing, but it is true. Now, this happened this week. I went to the library. I'm a very proud bookworm, so I'm always in the library, and I needed the toilet, the bathroom. So I go in the toilets. Now, in our South End library, it's a very big library and there's lots and lots of toilets, right? Okay. And I went in there and there was nobody in the toilets. It was quite early in the morning, so it's quite quiet in general in the library. There was no one in the cubicles. Now, I'm not going to go into detail what I was doing in the toilet because we don't want to go there. It's not that kind of show. But I was doing something that maybe have made a few noises, okay? Yeah, we all do it. It's a bodily function. So anyway, I was sitting there and I was thinking, oh no, this is really embarrassing. I'm so pleased that there's no one in here. And as I thought that, right, I started to hear some like shuffling and moving about in the next cubicle. And I was like, oh my, how could this be? There was no one when I come in here and now there's like this movement. So number one, I was scared because I hadn't heard anybody coming in this door, and you can hear the door open and close and stuff, But then I thought, oh no, if there's someone in here, like, it's really embarrassing because I've been making all these noises. Anyway, so I just felt really embarrassed. And I thought, oh, I've got to go out there now. Whoever's there is going to, see me as I wash my hands. And, it's just cringe. But here's the thing. I come out, right, do what I have to do, come out, go to wash my hands. And there is nobody in the toilets. Like, there's literally no one in the bathroom apart from me. I start walking along just thinking, oh, maybe there's, a cubicle. literally there is nobody. All the doors are open, like no one's in them. It really scared me. Honestly, I washed my hands, I dried my hands, and I was out of there. I was really scared. But anyway, yes, a ghost in the toilet and a gamer ghost. Yeah. Let me know, of course, any spooky experiences that you've had. Also, there is something that happened, what was it, a couple of nights ago now. This happened actually to Nathan, who will be joining me soon, by the way, but I don't know if I'll tell you quickly. But he was watching TV shows quite late at night. I had fell asleep on the sofa, like you do. And he said he saw, which was really freaky, this like black orb, like a sort of round disc shape, kind of appear out of nowhere on the floor in our front room, and like on the carpet, and then it just like just flew, just disappeared. That is creepy. I'm pleased I didn't see that. I'm pleased I was asleep. I'd have been really scared. Anyway, so I always ask people to get involved. I always ask people to tell me their, creepy, spooky accounts, because as I say, I love people getting involved in the podcast, okay? It's not just my stories, it's yours as well. So I have had some emails and social media messages as well, so I'm just going to read them out quickly to you. And thank you once again to people for getting in touch. Now, I have got some of the people's names, but other people do prefer to stay anonymous, which is completely fine. I respect that. So first of all, this is from an anonymous person. So this person's stepfather was diagnosed with lung cancer, and the person moved back home to help their mother and also to help look after their stepfather. So sadly, the stepfather passed away, and the person was sleeping in the living room because, that's where he was staying, right? So he could hear his mum snoring. She was asleep, snoring in the other room. But he started to hear these loud breaths, a bit like this. Okay. Like someone was like breathing and struggling to breathe, and they were similar sounds to what his stepfather had made. So that really freaked him out. It really scared him, and he actually used some sage to cleanse the apartment afterwards. And I think a lot of people do that. I think, when they've had experiences in the house, they do sage it and stuff like that. We've never actually done the sage thing, and I think the reason why we've never done that is because, yes, we have got fear that there could be darker stuff here, but I also think, if it's my grandma and granddad or another relative, I don't want to sage them away. So that's why we've never done it. But a lot of people do sage that, and to cleanse and to make them, feel better about being in the place. Next up, Veen says, in February 2013, a few days after her mum had died, she was staying alone in a townhome. She said, I was in my bedroom upstairs, which was directly across from the bedroom where my mum had died. I woke up from sleeping and felt a sharp rush of cold air in the room. I stood up and I still felt it, and just had an overall creepy feeling which freaked me out. And I've never slept in the house again, and sold it a year or so later. Then we've got a story from an anonymous person again. They say, in 1966, my parents booked a holiday abroad for their silver wedding. I was only 8 years old. 2 months before going on the holiday, my mum, who was an amazing medium, said to my dad that we just couldn't go. She had this dreadful feeling about it, premonition as such, and just said to cancel the holiday, which they did. So here's where it gets really creepy. The plane that we were meant to fly on crashed, and most of the 117 people died who were on that plane. So that is definitely a premonition, it's getting that feeling, and it's just, blows your mind, doesn't it? Okay, and the last story from one of my listeners is Julie, who says, first time I remember seeing something weird, I was about 4 or 5 years old. There was a shadow of a person on my ceiling, and there was a few nights in a row that I would see this shadow, and the shadow would move across the ceiling, and then it would just disappear when I got up to tell my mum, and I never saw it again. See, that really scares me. I have to say, I can put up with the different sounds if I've seen something, but having the idea of a shadow figure, like, crawling and, like, running across the ceiling and the walls, like, it just terrifies me. So, whew. So thank you very much. As I say, please do get in touch with your stories, personal accounts. I don't have to use your real name. You can use a fake name. I can just say anonymous, or I can, use your name. It's up to you. But please do get in touch. All right, next up, we've got famous alien abductions. Do you believe in aliens, first of all? And do you believe that they can actually, take us humans? And what are they doing with us? So I thought I would just talk about a few little alien abduction cases, because I just find this thing, this whole thing of aliens fascinating in general. But the thought of them abducting a human, probing and prodding and doing tests, and what do they want with us? And then why do they give us back? So perhaps the most famous case, I think anyway, is that of Betty and Barney Hill. So on the 19th of September 1961, the couple were driving back from a vacation when they noticed a bright light in the sky. The couple stopped their car to investigate what the light was, and Betty looked through some binoculars and saw the light was an odd-shaped craft with multi-coloured lights. So they got back in the car, carried on driving, when the object came towards their car, causing them to stop in the middle of the road. Then they drove off again, arriving home about dawn, where they started experiencing these really odd sensations and these impulses. Also, they found the strap of their binoculars was torn, and toes of his best shoes were actually all scuffed up, neither of which they remembered doing. Betty also found pink powder on her dress. So also information about this is that their drive should have took about 4 hours, but instead it took 7 hours, leading them to believe they had been abducted. So I know that this case, as with other abduction cases, a lot of people are like, is it real? Is it hoax? What do you think? Let me know. Then we've got Travis Walton, the Travis Walton incident. On November the 5th, 1975, Travis Walton, a forestry worker, was reported missing. So 6 witnesses claimed that they were driving down a road when they noticed a strange light hovering above the ground. Travis got out of the truck, ran towards the object, which shined a light on him. The others in the truck drove away because they were scared, but returned 15 minutes later to check on him, but he was gone. He was missing, just gone. So despite searching, there was no sign of him. They couldn't find him. It wasn't until the 12th of November that Travis reappeared, when he called his sister from a payphone. He claimed that he'd passed out and the beam of light struck him. And he also said that he saw 3 short, bald creatures watching him when he woke up in a hospital-type room. And then he blacked out again and remembers nothing else until he found himself walking along on his own on a highway 5 days later. So I've got some questions for you. I really want you to answer these questions. I really want people involved. So what would you do if you were abducted by aliens? How would you react? Like if I woke up and I'd been abducted, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would say. Like, hello, don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. I'm a nice person. And do you believe that aliens, abduct humans? And why do you think they do? Why do they abduct us? What do they want us for? Do you think they do experiments on us? Or, what are they doing with us? And do you think they're friendly aliens, or are they hostile? I honestly believe they're like humans. There are good humans, good and bad humans. And I think there are good aliens, and I think there are bad aliens. So hopefully if they did abduct me, I'd get some good ones, some friendly ones. And some abductions have actually mentioned humans working alongside them. So, people who've been abducted have said they've seen the aliens, but they've also seen the humans with them working on these experiments. So what's that all about? Do you think that the military and the government allow this to happen? Or have they got a deal with the aliens to abduct people and test on them and things like that? It's so fascinating. I mean, we could talk about it for hours. I won't, because I've got other things to talk about. But I just find that really fascinating. Now, I asked my dad. My dad's really into UFOs. I spoke about him in the last episode. Aliens, UFOs, he's fascinated with it all. But he did say he didn't believe the abduction thing. He doesn't think people have been abducted. He thinks these people have made it up. The story's up for fame and money, and but I don't know. But on the other side of it, there's been lots of like people who have been abducted, or claim, sorry, to have been abducted, have had lie detector tests and other tests done, and you know they've passed the test. So I don't know. Is it real? Is it not? Let me know what you think. So now we're going to be talking about mediums, okay? Mediums talking to the dead, talking to the other side. So a medium acts as a communication channel between the living and the dead. It's kind of like a spirit telephone, really. I think if it happens to me, I'll be ex-directory. But I am going to be joined by Nathan very shortly, who is my lovely fiance, and we're going to be discussing this topic. But first of all, I met up with a medium this week, and it was a friend of a friend, lovely person, and I asked them some questions, and I really wanted to do it because I wanted an insight on someone who actually communicates with the dead. You know, it's all well and good me having views, but you know, I'm not a medium, I don't know. So I really wanted to get their views and understand a bit more. And the interview went really well, and I do think I understand more. So what I'm going to do is read out the questions, and I'm going to read out the medium's answers, okay? So, you know, if you're interested in finding out the workings, the thinkings of a medium, hopefully this will help you to understand them better. So I asked, first of all, how would you describe yourself and your gift? They said, I describe myself as a medium. I have a gift that I give to other people and help people understand the other side. Which I really love that, you know, to help people is an amazing thing, right? Then I asked, how did you first discover your gift? And they said, 24 years ago, I started doing readings. It was something that always interested me as a child. I used to collect a magazine called Mind, Body and Spirit, and I actually collected the entire lot. That's when I started reading cards too, which is a tool in this area. Then I asked, did discovering you had a gift scare you? Because I think if it was for me, and if I could like start hearing spirit or seeing something, it would scare me. But they said no. They enjoy it. They embrace it. It's a gift. It doesn't scare them. Then I asked them, how do you communicate with spirit? Do you see them? Do you hear them? And they said they feel them. They sense them. They feel their emotions. They said, I feel people's emotions. So when I'm doing a reading, I can get people's emotions. Sometimes I start crying because I'm feeling their upset. They also told me that their partner sees spirits, and when they got together, both of their gifts got stronger, which I find really great. Like, you've both got a gift and it gets stronger with the love and the connection of a relationship. Then I asked, what do you think about mediumship in general? They said, I think it's a gift where we can help other people. Quite often people like to hear from the other side, gives them comfort. With my gift, I can also tell people things about their future. My predictions for people normally happen within 2 months. I don't know, like, do I want to know what's going to happen? Do I just want it to pan out naturally? I'm not too sure. Okay, so then I asked them, do you ever do a reading for yourself? And they said, yes, I do. I also go to other spiritual people for readings, which I found quite interesting, that they also sort of go to other people as well as their own kind of, readings. I said, how do you feel about people who are negative about mediumship and your gift? Because, let's face it, there are a lot of people who think it's a load of rubbish, they don't like it, etc. And they said, I respect them. Everyone has their own right to believe in whatever they want or not, to believe or not to believe. I don't take any offence, which I thought was a fantastic answer. Then I asked, how has your gift affected your life and your attitude to death? And they said, I'm not scared of death. My gift makes me realise that there is life after death. We believe that you go to another level, that this is not your real life, this is your test life, and you learn from your mistakes in this life until you move on to the next level, which I found really fascinating, thinking about life and then moving on to another level and stuff. And then I said, do you speak with your relatives? That was Nathan walking over on the very creaky carpet, floorboard.
Sound effects.
Yeah, creaky floorboards. Welcome. I said to them, do you speak with your relatives who have passed? And they said yes, they're always around me. Then I said, is there anything you change about your gift? Are you happy with it? And they said no, really happy with it. The only thing is, if you don't use your gift, you'll lose it. So if you want to be a medium, you have to keep using that, doing things like meditation, etc. And the more you do it, you get stronger. So I think honestly, I had a really good time with this person, really interesting answers. They were lovely, and it really gave me an insight. So, the man who made the floorboards creak as you come over, we have got very creaky floorboards.
Well, there's only one.
Yeah.
It's down there.
There's another one next to it, that other one.
Yeah.
But it's an old house. It's going to be creaky.
It's an old haunted house.
Exactly.
We live in a spooky house.
Welcome, Nathan.
Thank you.
To the podcast. So, as you obviously just heard,
yes,
I was doing talking about mediumship, and I had the interview. What is your view, your honest view on mediums?
Brutal, honest view is mediums, I believe they exist. Mm-hmm. You know, there are people that can either communicate or see or feel stuff from the dead, but I think a lot of them are fake. So I think if you was to have, say, for example, 100, out of that 100, you probably got 5 real ones and 95 not real ones. I think because nowadays you can make so much money from it, I think it's got a lot of people that have figured out this is the way to make money, which makes the real ones look bad.
Which is actually, when I interviewed the medium, they told me that they will not take any money. They literally do it as a gift to help others, which I thought was really good.
That is good.
And genuine.
And that, I think, is a sign of somebody that's not faking it.
Exactly.
Because there's no point faking it if you're not getting anything.
Exactly. So we're going to discuss, are you excited about this?
I am. I'm super excited.
We're going to discuss certain aspects of mediumship. So starting with the methods of communication, and also actually, would you ever do the things we're going to be talking about? I'm going to ask you if you ever done it or would do it.
Okay.
All right. First of all, seances.
Seances.
Have you ever done, would you ever do?
Not a proper seance where there's loads of people round a table holding hands. Going,
can I hold my hand? That's nice.
Can you speak to... But I think also you can do a seance with just a couple of people like me and you. We've sat at a table asking questions.
Yeah.
I'd say that counts as a seance.
I agree.
But I've never done one where it's like the old Victorian one where
you all sat
around the table. And there's one medium there.
I'm getting
neither
Edna.
of us are mediums.
Auntie Edna is coming through.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that.
I haven't actually got an Auntie Edna, but it's just first name that comes to me. Okay, same. The same answer for me there. Now we might differ on this.
Okay.
Ouija boards.
I've never done one, and I never will. Because bad stuff happens to people that do them. You only have to watch horror movies to know that. True. I think there's an actual horror movie called Ouija.
Yeah. See, I have never done one, but unlike you, I would love to do one. I'm too scared.
Yeah.
But I'd love to, just to really see if it's real, if you know when they move, what's that thing called?
The planchette.
Yeah. You know, is someone moving that with their hand, or is it actually... I'm just fascinated by it.
Yeah, no, I just wouldn't mess with that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Bad things happen.
I know. I'll be sensible.
Bad hombres appear.
Bad hombres. Tarot cards. Obviously, the medium said that they communicated with him. I read tarot. What's your view on that?
I've never had a tarot reading. I never would.
I offered you. You said, no, it's all right.
One, I think it's quite easy to fake. And two, I don't really want to know what the future holds.
Yeah, I know.
I take each day as it comes. I don't really care about the future.
Yeah, and also I think if you get told something's going to happen, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to take
your own path. And I don't think they'd get a very good reading from me anyway because I'm not very open to it.
I have offered you many times and you're like, no.
Whereas you...
I love a tarot.
You love a tarot.
I love doing people's tarot cards.
Yeah.
I love doing it for myself. I just love tarot. Pendulums and dowsing rods. What's your view on those?
Pendulums look pretty.
They do. Dowsing rod's pretty cool.
Dowsing rods are pretty cool.
We have got dowsing rods.
I'm not entirely sure on them because I think it's subconscious hand movements.
No, I disagree.
I think you might not think you're moving it. You might not think you're affecting them. But I think subconsciously. Right. But that's why we're different.
This is why we're having this debate in a friendly manner.
Yeah.
See, I disagree because we've got dowsing rods. I've used them. I have not moved my hands. Yeah. And then I've asked a question and then rods have moved.
But that could be subconscious.
And the pendulum I've got as well, with the swinging yes or no for that way.
Yeah.
And, it's fine. We can disagree.
That's the idea of this.
Automatic drawing or writing.
Well, there's that one couple we see on, I think it was GAC.
Yeah, Ghost Adventures.
They're a married couple, and I think the woman does she do the writing, and the man does the drawing.
He does the drawings.
And she does the writing, and
it's amazing.
They're in separate rooms, so they don't know what the other one's drawing and writing, and somehow their stuff comes out amazing. So I believe
really
the real mediums can do that. The fake ones, clearly, they can't.
Do you want to know a secret?
You've tried it.
I have actually tried. I haven't done the drawings.
No.
Can't draw, but I have tried automatic writing.
Did it work?
I don't know if it's words that were just coming out of my mind or if it was real. I don't know.
You never will know, though.
But I tell you what, my handwriting looked even worse than it does normally.
I can imagine that.
Okay, do you think a session is better, like a medium session is better one-to-one or in a group, like a spiritualist church or room?
No, I think the trouble with a spiritualist church in a group setting, if they say anything, say you've got 20 people in the room, it's going to connect with someone.
Yeah.
So you can be a generalist and go, I've got an old man here who used to be in the army.
Yeah.
One of those 20 people has probably got a granddad or a great-granddad that was in the army, who was an old man. So I think
it's quite general sometimes.
I think it's better if you're on a one-to-one and they come up with something, it's a lot harder for the medium, which means they're more likely to be real.
I've done both.
Yeah.
And when I've been to see the mediums on the platform, I agree, some of them do seem a bit general, but I've had a few that have said, right, the lady at the back row, red jumper, this person got this message, and they are spot on.
Yeah,
and other times it has felt a little bit general.
I've never seen that.
But the one-to-one is more personal, and also they go into more detail because you're just on their own.
And I think it's easier to prove if they're real or not.
Definitely. I mean, I've been told some amazing things, Okay, all right. Now, there's also a downside to spirit communication, that being that people, as we said, make profit from very vulnerable people who are grieving. And in the past and current times, actually, trickery is used. So, do you want to talk about a little bit of trickery?
Trick me now.
I've got to say this probably. Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm. Yeah. Spiritual plasma that emits from the medium, normally from their mouth or nose, comes out, forms the ghost next to them. Not real. Cotton wool dipped in chemicals.
There's some substance they put in it. However, back in the day, these people who were witnessing this must have been really freaked out.
This was back in Victorian times.
Yeah, but it must have looked real
it's like
that.
Nowadays, if you see a hologram ghost,
you'd think
they look quite creepy. But
also, when they pretend to hear voices.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that. Oh, somebody's talking to me right now.
Are they?
No.
Okay. The obvious, this is most obvious, table knocking, rapping, the table raises.
They had all kinds of contraptions, especially back in Victorian times.
Yeah, but they still do that.
They still do it now, but
the table raising
now they've got more sophisticated methods.
Yeah. So I actually asked some people on Facebook. I'd done a post on it asking, because I know I was going to be doing this. I said, mediums, real or fake? And I wanted people's view. What do you think most people thought, fake or real?
I think a lot of people probably agree with me that there are real mediums, but there's also a lot of fakes.
Okay, well, Erin says, I think that many are charlatans, but I do think that some have a gift. I don't think that we understand the nature of that gift yet. I'd agree with that. Daniel says, ones that do it as an income are scammers who prey on people's feelings. Charlie says, I think there are quite a few fakers out there who do it for the money. I've tried one before and they were 0% accurate. It's not good, is it?
No.
And I didn't give another one any money since, but then he said that he come across a random stranger at a grocery store who grabbed him and out of the blue told him how his granddad was coming through to him, that he loved him and all that stuff. So, sometimes that's happened to us. We've been out and do you remember?
I think you've had somebody in the coffee
just
shop.
come up randomly I know someone is coming through. So, Aaron says, I definitely think some people experience things that they help them bond with those that have passed. Ricky says, the problem I have... Now, I agree with this, actually, in a way. Ricky says, the problem I have with people who claim to communicate with the departed is that they say they're in a happy place, yet they always fail to describe the place that the dead are in. We have said that.
Yeah.
They never say about where they are.
Where they are,
what it is.
You know.
So Ash says, I do believe people can communicate with the dead, but there are some scammers, unfortunately. Helen says she's seen a couple of good ones who have communicated things they could have never known about her dad who had passed away. Vicky says she thinks they're real. Yeah. Her friend is a medium and she's seen it firsthand. And then we've got B, who says, load of rubbish. Just come right out of it. Load of rubbish. No one can talk to the dead as there is no afterlife. When you're gone, you're gone. Everyone's so different with their views, right? Okay.
Yeah, I suppose you're not going to believe in mediums if you don't believe in afterlife.
Exactly. So you know what I think we need now? I'm going to get nice and comfortable.
Get comfortable.
Because it's time for space news and space mysteries with you.
So are you ready to go to sleep? Because space and you don't get on, do they?
I do try and watch your space documentaries with you, but I end up falling asleep on the sofa. It's because they're so interesting.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I do kind of
You get
sleepy.
Tired / freaked out.
Yeah, some of it freaks me out.
Yeah.
So what's happening this week?
So this week, in space news, we've got NASA news. Are you ready for the NASA?
I've got a NASA hoodie. Did you know that?
Have you?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
I have.
So NASA's OSIRIS-REx craft has returned. It's come back to Earth after 7 years in space. It was sent out to an asteroid called Bennu. Bennu, yes. An asteroid orbiting quite far away. I think it took about 2.5 years to get there. To get to Bennu, and when it was there, it spent a couple of years going around it, taking pictures, scanning it, and also went down to the surface to grab some material, bring it back up, and then it took two and a bit years to get back home, and now it's landed in Utah. Not where the Utah Saints are, just Utah. Probably in the desert somewhere in Utah. Yeah. And it's brought back its samples, which they're going to investigate.
Interesting.
Because the samples from the asteroids, because most of the asteroids date to the beginning of the solar system. So they'll help us learn how we think the solar system was born and how the planets were created. Because it's still a bit up in the air what really happened.
So that's exciting for space people.
And it's going to be, the science they can do from just this few bits of dust from an asteroid can take, it's got work for scientists for years. So they can find out so much about the early solar system, which is always a good thing.
Lovely.
It's a good thing. Now.
Yes.
Do you like Mars?
Mars bars, yeah, they're nice.
The planet Mars.
Oh, I was joking. I don't know. Do I like it? Is it good or is it better? Yeah, I like it.
You know about Mars.
Well, I know, yeah.
What do you know about Mars?
Not much. It's that one with the face on it.
Yeah, it's red.
That's all I know.
It's the red planet, Mars.
That's it, the red planet.
And
that's
right. So
I knew that. I was
for hundreds upon hundreds of years, because you can actually see Mars in the sky. It looks like a star. It's red, and people have always thought it's very much like Earth until we had proper telescopes where we could see detailed images of it. People have always thought it's a twin of Earth, of rivers, seas, possibly even people wandering around the surface. And it's only recently we've been able to look up with telescopes properly and send
You've got a lovely big telescope.
I've got a nice telescope, actually.
It's a big telescope.
Big telescope, yeah. But after that, yeah.
Moving on.
So they thought there was advanced life up there. Especially the Victorians and things like War of the Worlds. They were Martians from Mars. Oh. So a lot of people thought there would be people on Mars. Sadly, there's no people on Mars that we know of.
That we know of? Oh, no, you didn't.
We know of. We haven't seen any people up there.
No.
Or have we?
I don't know, have we?
No, we haven't. But we have seen strange things on Mars.
Why are you looking at me when you said strange things?
Some of them resemble mink slaughter. No, they don't. They don't. So they found things that look like... So in the images, either from the rovers, you know about the little robots that are trundling around on Mars, looking everywhere. And also we've got satellites flying around Mars and taking pictures of it and scans. And some of these pictures and scans have shown strange things, such as things that look like pyramids. Oh. Why is there things that look like pyramids on Mars?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Statues. There should be no statues on Mars.
Strange.
And also, a face.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Face on Mars,
I remember that image.
Which admittedly has been debunked because it was just a mountain.
What's that word? Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. It was a mountain and it just had shadows on it that made it look like
It really does
They
look like a face.
But there's also been things look a weird door cut into the rock. So most scientists agree that these things are all pareidolia, shadows falling in the right places, blah, 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 blah. But we won't know 100% until we get to Mars. Are there ancient structures? Because Mars did actually used to be like Earth. So billions of years ago, Earth and Mars, pretty similar. In fact, Mars might have even been nicer than Earth, because at one point Earth was a big ball of lava floating in space. Mars actually had running water on there. So there is still the dried out remains of riverbeds and lakes and oceans. There's just no water there because it lost its atmosphere and it all boiled away and evaporated into space. Apart from frozen water, which is below the surface. But if it had water, there's a chance that life did evolve on Mars. And that's what we're going to look for. Yeah. And within the next, 20 years, we hope to have had people on Mars. How amazing is that?
It's amazing. Do you want to go?
I'd go if it was safe. I wouldn't go in some...
I thought you were just going to say if you come with me, and then you just went, if it's safe.
No, I wouldn't stay there. I'd have a holiday.
Oh, right. Okay.
Holiday Mars. No, you'd never go to
Mars.
No,
I don't know.
But I'd go there for a holiday if it was safe.
Send me a postcard.
I would. I'd bring you back some Martian soil.
That's very nice of you.
It is, yeah. So, what's your thoughts? Do you think there was life on Mars?
Yeah, definitely.
Or was it just pareidolia?
No, I think there was.
Yeah?
I do.
You think there's ancient structures buried on the surface?
I definitely do.
Like ruins of an ancient civilization?
Even if some of it's pareidolia, I think some of it, definitely.
Yeah,
you?
I don't, but I do think there is either evidence of ancient life, such as bacteria and stuff, or there is actual still bacteria there. I think if we send people to Mars to dig around and look, we'll find stuff. But I don't think it's going to be little green men or mummies or pyramids. And that concludes Space News.
That was great. Do you know what? It's really odd, and I'm not just saying this. I do find space a bit boring. I'm not going to lie. But when you do it, when you talk to me about stuff, I mean,
you're still awake.
It's just, I take it in. I find it fascinating. Maybe it's the way you tell them.
Yeah.
You tell it. Yeah. We've got some comments from listeners.
Let's listen.
I love this.
Let's listen to the listeners.
Please get involved. So,
please, everyone.
We've got Rosie Britton, who says, loving this podcast, Laura. Thank you, Rosie. I think that was over on YouTube. So don't forget, you can listen to this on Spotify, on iTunes, and on YouTube. Strange Happenings, Minx Law 123. Right, next up we've got Gemma Elizabeth, who says, I'm a believer like you. I'm convinced my house is haunted. I've lived here 23 years. So when I was a kid, I first experienced spooky happenings. It doesn't scare me, just fascinates me. It scares me and fascinates me.
I'm not particularly scared.
Debbie G says, I've seen the Hat Man in my dreams over the years. Hearing Nathan talk about his experiences on the last episode was really interesting.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. There's loads of people who've, seen the Hat Man. I've never seen it. We've got Isaac in Israel says, Shalom from Israel. Shalom from the United Kingdom. Shalom. He says, me and my friends really enjoy listening to your podcast. In our free time, you have a fun... Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
This is nice. You have a fun personality. Thank you. And the subjects that you discuss are very interesting. Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's very nice. It's nice to have international viewers.
Yeah, it is nice. Do you think I've got a fun personality?
Yes.
You've got to say that. Then we've got Andrew. Andrew says, good podcast. Enjoy the space news, especially. There you go. Space news. And yes, I do believe there's a secret space force, but I'm not part of it, sadly. Oh, Andrew.
It's sad, isn't it?
Then we've got Holly in Leicester. Holly in Leicester says, hello, really like the banter that's between you and Nathan. Keep up the good work. We got bants.
And you keep up the good work listening to us.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Please do get in touch. We love your comments, feedback. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to discuss. Let us know if you've got any spooky ghost stories or alien UFO stories or anything. Spaceman.
Space.
Do you want to know what's on next week's show?
I suppose I better, because I might be involved.
Can you sound a bit more excited? Like, yes!
Yes!
And there we go. That's great. So, next episode, a talking tree.
A talking tree.
Talking
Okay.
tree.
That sounds interesting.
Only on Strange Happenings.
Yeah.
Minx Laura 123. A talking tree. Phantom smells. Don't sniff me.
Yep. Got that one.
I've had a shower today. Cursed films. Movies.
Yep. There's some of them.
Bigfoot.
Yep. We know all about
Now,
Bigfoot.
this is funny
Yeah.
because the other day you'd recorded a Bigfoot show
Yeah.
on one of the Sky channels.
Yeah, I had.
My mum was looking through the planner to see what shows there's
Yeah.
on being recorded.
Yeah.
Married at First Sight's there, The Only Way is Essex. And then she goes, "Why have you recorded the show about people with big feet?" And I was like, what are you talking about?
It's not. It's just Bigfoot.
And it was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Mum, it's a myth. Like, it's
Bigfoot. How can you have not heard of
cryptid,
Bigfoot?
Thing. It was funny.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be talking about, I'm really excited for this, haunted trains and haunted train stations.
Ooh, nice.
I'm going to be discussing Area 51. Do you think it's all just for show or
And
is
I
stuff
will
happening?
be. Will I be involved in any of that?
You'll be doing the space news and space mysteries.
Will I be involved in any of those things?
Well, what would you like to be involved with? I don't want to be bossy.
I don't know. I'll decide close to the time. So if you want to find out what I've decided, you're going to have to watch next episode.
I think you'll be good with Area 51.
Will I?
Because you know a lot
Why
about
do you think
that.
I'm from there?
But I also think you know quite a lot about Bigfoot
And haunted trains.
and haunted trains.
Yeah, what don't I know?
I don't know really.
That's a bit
You don't know
creepy.
about Talking Tree.
I definitely don't know about that.
Oh, and also,
Also.
this is really exciting.
Go on.
I'll be analysing your dreams.
Mine?
Nightmares. No, not yours, the listeners.
I don't remember mine,
No,
apart
you
from
don't.
Hatman.
No, apart from Hatman. I am going to be analysing your dreams. I'm going to be posting on social media in the next couple of weeks, pretty much asking you for your dreams. Or if you want to listen, if you're listening now and you want to get in touch with me, tell me if you have a recurring dream or if you've had a really strange, weird, freaky dream that you remember or a sad, happy dream. I'll be analysing them
Isn't that a
with
song
my little
from
dream
Les
book.
Mis?
What's
I
that?
dreamed a dream.
I think it's from that.
yeah.
I dreamed a dream of...
That's from Les
Yeah, it's a
Mis.
good song.
There we go.
So there we go. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to episode 3 of Strange Happenings. Can't believe we've done 3 episodes already. I
Yeah,
think this
I
is
know.
quite a long one.
This
I've got
is
a feeling.
This is a bumper jammer, wham, mega bam.
Bam, jam packer.
It's super big.
But thank you for being here as ever.
Thank you.
You light up the show and my life. A bit romance thrown in.
That's very nice
I know.
of you.
But anyway, listen, if you want to get in touch, email me, minxlaura123@gmail.com. Don't forget to put...
Strange happenings as your subject, so that we
Exactly.
can find it amongst all the junk mail.
Yeah, I do get a lot of junk mail.
There's a lot of junk mail.
Also, you can contact me via my social media platform. So Twitter or X is @minxlaura123. Instagram,
Minxlaw123.
correct. And don't forget, follow me on TikTok @minxlaura123 ASMR.
Yes.
But yeah, contact me, email me, message me, let me know, get involved with the show. It's
Yes, please. It's
fun.
as interactive.
I
As
love people getting
interactive as
involved.
you can be without being here.
Do you want to go and do some like automatic drawing now? Or do you want to try a Ouija board?
Mine looks like a ghost's already done it because it's rubbish. I'm terrible at drawing.
No, it's been a good show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for listening from me, Minxlaw123, and the lovely spaceman Nathan.
Space. The final frontier.
Space. It is goodbye. See you in the next episode. Bye.